Hi, everyone. This is Jeraine Simmons, your podcast host for Ageless Ambition. Today, I have with me the Councilwoman at Large, Crystal Feliciano. Crystal Feliciano took office in 2023 and currently runs through her term in 2027. She's an educator for the public school system and also a community leader. Crystal Feliciano, welcome to Ageless Ambition.
Thank you, Jeraine. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Crystal Feliciano, can you tell the listeners out there a little bit about your background?
Sure, thank you. So currently, I'm a teacher leader at Trenton Central High School. I've been in the district 7 years now, formerly the finance teacher there for 5 years, which was an awesome experience, and then promoted to teacher leader, which means that I get to focus a lot more on bringing exciting programs in for our students, as well as supporting our teachers with professional development and then expanding their curriculum opportunities for students as well. I am a councilwoman at large in the city of Trenton part-time, which is exciting, dealing with all of the constituents and all of the many issues and good celebrations as well that happen throughout the city. I am the owner of Crystal Clear Media LLC. I go around and I do professional development workshops and empowerment workshops and things like that for women and the like, empowering those around me, bringing the message loud and clear.
Yes.
And I think I'm a mom. That's the most important piece. I don't even call it a job. I call it, just a blessing for me. I have a beautiful daughter, Gianna. She's 24. And so I've been watching her grow into a fabulous young woman that she is becoming.
I've seen you from afar and I've seen you wear your hats in grace. I've seen you at different organizations where you're here one morning and you're here in the evening at another location. How do you juggle and how do you manage the hats that you wear? The mom, the teacher, the political official, the advocate. And trust me, you are an advocate. I hear your voice loud and clear. It echoes throughout the community, letting them know that they do have strong leadership behind them.
Thank you. So the hats are many. The rest is minimum, but I do make sure that I do take time out for me. I know a lot of people don't believe it, and when I tell them I do rest, I do sleep. The thing is, I know how to work it so that even in the times that I'm resting, I'm always releasing content. So it is as if I'm just always fluent, right? And so that's important for me. Excuse me, is to always be present, to always be seen, to always be heard, to let people know that they do have somebody that really is doing the work beyond the title. I
Mm-hmm.
do take time for my family. Like I said, my daughter, she's 24 now. So when she has time for me, then we meet up and have time with each other. Y'all know what it's like to be
Right.
24 and be out there doing your thing and living life right as she should be. So I find time. This year was a little hard for me. I lost my
Mm-hmm.
nana in February. She passed and we buried her March the 7th. She was 103. So that was the first time that I actually took time off from work, that I had to be still. And in that
Mm.
time, I genuinely needed it because that was a very big blow for me and for my family too. But
Right.
yeah, when I needed that, that actually taught me to definitely refocus on one, the things that are important, focus on
Mm.
myself a little bit more, my health, my family, realizing that while I would love to be everything to everyone, I first have to take care of me in the process. And it's okay to say no sometimes, and it's okay to sit down and revive and reset and revamp and rejuvenate, right? And reset. So yeah, so I find my balance.
Yes.
When I need my time, I take it. Trust me.
Yes. Thank you for that. And thank you for sharing that. And again, sorry for your loss. But
Thank
in
you.
that stillness, there was something that
Mhm.
you discovered about yourself that you needed to make sure that you focused on your family, that you focused on yourself. I heard you say in there that it's okay to take a moment to reset. And women have to know, like, it's okay. You are not superwoman,
Right.
right? And it's okay to sit down, rest, recharge, and then go back out and do the work that you're
Yeah.
called to. And so,
Mhm.
speaking of calling, did you actually feel that calling? Tell us a little bit about that.
So it would have been what, like 2022 when we
Mm-hmm.
came out, to run the city,
Mm-hmm.
seemed to be just in shambles. Like the whole, I'm not going to speak ill of anyone, but it was not being run in a way that was actually beneficial to the residents in the city of Trenton. And
Okay.
so, being the educator, being the community activist and advocate for so many, um, I knew that it was time for me to step up and throw my hat into the ring. I've had experience with the political realm previously, having been, aides for different council people. So I'm familiar with the territory. But I knew at that time I just wanted to step up and just put my hat in there and say, here I am, y'all, let's go. And so we went, and so now here we are.
Can you describe that pivotal moment where you said, you know what, it's go time? Do you remember that pivotal moment
No, I
that
just
you had?
remembered that I was watching former council meetings and it
Hmm.
turned into like watching the Jerry Springer show or the Ricky Lake show, or you know what I mean? It was getting wild. Like I was
Right.
tuning in just to like tune in and be like, what's the next episode tonight on As City Council Turns? You know what I mean? Like I'd be sitting there keying it up with everybody else, but then it got to the point where it was like, you got to be serious. There has to be more to this. And then when it got to a point of just total disrespect in talk
Mm.
from leadership. And when it got to the point of degrading and things of that nature, that's
Okay.
not leadership. That's not leadership. And so that, I guess, for me was a time when it was like, you know what? Well, you can do a whole lot better than this. And the people deserve a whole lot better than what we were getting. And so that in that moment in time, and hearing everything that I heard, and like I said, the level of disrespect among the members
Mhm.
towards themselves, it was like, what are we looking at here? And
Wow.
during that time, remember, during the close of those 4 years, like COVID had hit, so things were all
Hmm.
virtual. So we're just sitting and tuning in like on television. And then when it got to the point where commentary was made and we were covered in news media outlets in other states and all over the place, like Trenton is the laughing stock. Nah, we're not the laughing stock. And
I
our
know that's right.
kids deserve to see excellent representation and be led by people who are called to be purposeful and intentional in helping other people. That's when I knew that I wanted to step up and step in and go.
Crystal, that was your pivot, right? I heard you say it got to the point where the city was being looked at as being disrespected. The
Yeah.
council people that was present at that time was being disrespected towards themselves and then towards the community, which meant
Yeah.
that it showed the community was almost like a symbol or a mirror of their actions.
Mhm.
So it was time for the respectful person to step up, the leader to step up, the advocate to step up. And that was you, Crystal. You was like, I can do better. I have God
Mhm.
behind me. I have the
Yeah.
leadership ability. I have the knowledge. I have the education. You had all of that inside you. And now it was like time to be birthed. So
Mhm.
I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, Crystal, as we move on, tell us a little bit about well, you talked about a little bit about what inspired you to go into public service and leadership. What has been one of your greatest personal challenges and how did you overcome it? Was that
So, so I think that one of the greatest personal challenges. So I would have to say that back in what, 2014, was it 2014?
Mhm.
It was during one of the elections where Eric Jackson was running for mayor. Paul Perez was running against Eric Jackson at that time.
Mhm.
And I was working for the state comptroller's office at that time. I was a
Okay.
supervising auditor. And so per per statute, because of the
Mhm.
kind of job that I was doing, we weren't supposed to be engaged in political activities, right?
Okay.
So I ended up, so Paul's nephew David and I went to grammar school together, high school together. So I knew
Mm-hmm.
David. And
Mm-hmm.
so David came to town and was like, "Hey, my uncle's running for mayor of Trenton. I want you to meet him." And I was like, "All right." So I was living out at my grandfather's house in Ewing Township at the time, my daughter and I.
Mm-hmm.
So I met Paul and I was like, "Hey, how you doing? I have this foundation. We're looking for support. I do this fashion show to help children, that have hair loss due to alopecia, cancer, or other extenuating circumstances. Would you like to support?" So he was like, "Sure. I'd like to donate to the foundation." So I was like, "Great." So he donates to the foundation. After that, they had invited me. "Oh, well, will you come? We're having this event. Just come by." So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Okay, I could go to the event. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to the event." Okay.
Right.
And so this is where I would say it is important, excuse me, to understand when you choose to open certain doors and walk through them, that you are very
Mm.
clear on what it is you're walking into.
Okay.
So I went to an event. An event led to come to another event. I show up at an event. Okay, I'm at the event. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just at the event.
Right.
So then it comes to, "Well, will you come to a meeting?" Okay, I guess, if I ain't doing nothing, I go to a meeting. So I go to the meeting. I'm starting to meet different people, starting to network and starting to grow. Right. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
this is cool. This is okay." It wasn't okay. So as it turns out, I'm a fast forward now. So I'm
Okay.
around, I'm hanging around, doing what I do, still doing my work, had exemplary performance reviews, the whole 9 yards. I'm good. As it turns out, Paul Perez lost the election. It was a
Mm-hmm.
good thing Paul lost the election because many of us that had worked with him at that time, as we started seeing the person for who they were, it was like, yeah, this is not a good choice for the city.
Right.
But you know how you just get so far into something, like the movie In Too Deep, right? All
Yes.
right, cool. So we in too deep. So as it turns out, he loses the election. He sees a picture, and I've said this live on Peterson's Breaking News of Trenton. So this ain't like it's a secret or anything, and it is my life and is a learning lesson for those who would
Mm.
choose to take it and absorb it and learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
So he lost the election, and then he saw a picture of me, Lance Lopez, Andrew Bobbitt, and Zachary Chester on Facebook in the park one day. Okay.
Okay.
So now I get this call. "Oh, you're with the enemy. How dare you? What is this?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I lived in Ewing at the time. We talking about Eagles and Eagles and the Giants, right? Super Bowl. That's how I'm looking at it, right? I'm with the Eagles. You with the Giants. The Super Bowl came. It's over. We good.
Right. Right.
But that wasn't the end of it.
Mm.
He got so upset that he went and filed an ethics complaint against me with
I
the
do
state of
remember
New
that.
Jersey,
Yeah.
that said I worked on his campaign. I'm like, huh? So I'm pulled in for questioning. Okay. I answer my questions. I was told, look, and then they presented the report, and it's not like it's a secret. They present the report, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the report it says, I had some personal emails on my state account. I did. I worked there for 7 years.
Right.
I had 500 emails. If you do the math on that, that's about right. But it wasn't about politically it was not about political emails, if that makes sense to you.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was there 7 years. So it
Mm-hmm.
might have been something like, "My daughter's not coming to school today. My daughter's not coming
Okay.
to the Girl Scout meeting." It was things like that,
Something
right? But the way they
outside of
worded it,
work. Yes.
yeah, it was like, "Oh, she worked on his campaign. Oh, it was 500." It wasn't even like that, right? So let us
Right.
be clear about that. But anyway, I just wanted it to be over. I was a single mother. My
Mm.
daughter was young. I I was the breadwinner. I was told that if I signed the paperwork that says I would pay a $3,000 fine, that would be the end of it. I
Wow.
signed the paperwork thinking that that would be the end of it. Well, that was not the end of it. I ended up being laid off from
Mm-hmm.
my position. And so, in the midst of that, I ended up losing my grandfather's house to foreclosure.
Okay.
I ended up filing for bankruptcy. I ended up having to cash out my pension so that I had to start from scratch to rebuild.
Mm.
I went from going out all the time and getting my daughter whatever we wanted to eat to just getting enough so that she didn't miss a beat on what she wanted to eat, so that she didn't feel the impact of my mistake, my misdoing, my poor judgment. I own all of it. I own
Mm-hmm.
all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And through it all, God has been so good to me because I now own a home.
Yep.
Um, I have a great job. I have my own LLC. I am the councilwoman. Um, my daughter is fine. We have not missed a beat on anything. I am a reflection of Trenton. Many people have lost homes. Many people have had to file for bankruptcy. Many people
Mm-hmm.
have had to pull themselves up and start over. But I thank God for blessing me and trusting me enough to give me the wherewithal to keep going, because what could have actually just taken me out just built me and made me stronger. And so that was a challenging time because I still have people today who still want to bring that up. And we're talking almost a decade ago. I've
Let
paid
it
my
go.
price. I didn't steal anything from anyone. I was
Right.
wrong for what I did, but I didn't steal anything from anyone. I got exemplary performance evaluations. I've done the work. No one can speak or say that I did not. I just got caught up in and I made a mistake and I've paid for it over and over. I don't even go by, listen, it's so deep. I don't
Mm.
even like riding by the house out on Eggers Crossing. I feel like for a long time I felt like I was just a disappointment. And I know it broke my mother's heart that I lost that house because she grew up
Mm-hmm.
out there. Like that house, my grandfather's the late Reverend Philip J. Allen, who founded New Salem Baptist Church. That house has
Oh,
been in
okay.
my family for a
Okay.
long time.
Yes.
And so to have lost everything that I lost, God replaced it double for me, triple in some cases. I mean, listen, I'm doing all right, but in my mind and in my heart, sometimes it still hurts because I wish
Mm.
that there was a way that I could just, I don't know, just fix that one piece. If I could fix that one piece with that house for my mother, that would be like the icing on the cake for me. But I trust
Yes.
God that He has better in store for me. So that was my challenging time.
Yes.
that was
Crystal,
that was it.
Crystal, I heard so much in that. I heard that you're a warrior at the end of the day, and God's hand is truly on your life because you went through that storm and you came out of it. There was something that you said in the beginning, be clear about the door that you're walking into. But what was a few of the lessons that you learned that when you look back, you can say, I learned this lesson, I learned this lesson, and this has helped me,
Yeah.
through this.
Um, I actually, when I was teaching finance, I actually would share that story with each of my students,
Mm-hmm.
all of my classes, because the lesson for me, number one, you don't never let nobody and nothing come between you and your money. You don't,
That's right.
nothing. That's
That's
lesson
right.
number one, honey. You don't let nobody and nothing come between you and your money. Um, and if you're not supposed to do it, just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't. Um, again, it's comical to me, a little funny. I said God got a funny way of doing stuff. How, the very person who was seeking office, who did all of that, didn't get in,
That's
and yet
right.
here I am. I'm sitting in office. I was like, wow, Lord, look at you and how
Yes.
you do that. So I believe that even in the mess, there's a definite message if you
Mm-hmm.
listen and hear it. And so I believe even in that, God was preparing me for my seat in leadership, in position, to be effective and to be good, for the city of Trenton, to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
show me what it is to have to go through, to be under public scrutiny, and to try my chin, you know and say you're gonna do
So
it, what you're gonna do. You're gonna quit or you're gonna push. Um, but the lesson is, to not wallow in your mistakes,
right.
to own up to your ish. When you do it, own it. I
Hmm.
own what I did. I don't blame anybody. I did it,
Right.
right? A free will. And then to always bless God, even through the good and the bad. That
Right. Right.
he's just always right there. And I learned that then if I never knew, I knew that it was nothing but the grace of God that got me through all of that. And he
Mhm.
sustains me forward. And he still trusts me enough. He trusts me enough to
Right.
allow me to lead in this city in spite of. And I'm grateful for that. And I work hard every day to uphold what it is that he's blessed me with.
Right. I like how you talk about how God tested you. And basically, he said that these are going to be the lessons that you need to learn now at this level, because
Yeah.
you're going to fight bigger demons and bigger people at another level. So if you can't
Yes.
do it down here,
Right.
then you definitely can't do it over here. So he
Right.
prepared you, and you
Yeah.
thought that, okay, I'm at my lowest. But what I see also is that with Trenton, it's it's under so much scrutiny. It's almost like, a diamond in the rough. It has
Yeah.
its areas where the areas are blossoming, and then of course it has its areas where, it's demolishing. And so in that, what I do see is that a council is trying to come together to pull
Right.
it up for a greater vision. And so
Yes.
in that, I know that, you as a councilwoman, that you are fighting people daily. You're fighting Congress, you're fighting other officials, you're fighting the people for a better city. And they don't even understand all the weapons that is coming up against you because you don't share it with everybody. But I like
Right.
how you said that God tested you and you came out on the other side because he was preparing you for something bigger, and you didn't shrink back in that. And I love that. So, Crystal, what do you believe is your purpose in this chapter of your life and the next chapter of your life as it relates to city council?
So I think that in this chapter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna continue doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna continue being a stronger counsel person. I
Mm-hmm.
always, I love to learn. That's just me. I love to learn. Um, and I think that there's still a little more for me to do. I am examining my next steps of where I want to be next. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's commissioner. I don't know if it's mayor. I don't know if it's
Okay.
assemblywoman. But I know that I am to go higher. I know that.
Mm.
And I said that if I didn't run this time, which I'm not, then probably in 2030, if the
Mm-hmm.
Lord say so, I will be looking to run for mayor in the city of Trenton, depending on how things go, and where I am in my life at that time. But I just see myself now, just continuing on my path as a council person, looking to put laws and things in place to better help the city, working with the council colleagues, working with the administration in order to make Trenton be the best that it could be.
Okay. Now I heard you say something how you were talking about the next chapter. And
Mhm.
sometimes what I hear women, in their 50s say, okay, I'm here, next lifetime, I'm tired. Yeah, I had that dream of doing that. Can you speak to women who are maybe stuck, who has it in them to go to the next level, but they feel like their age or they're out of season? Can you speak to that?
Mm. Hmm. So I think that a part of my empowerment workshops is
Mm-hmm.
to have women look into self and to
Yes.
recharge and reset. We're not books on a shelf, right? That people
Right.
could set up there and just forget about. But we have to remember mentally to not set ourselves on a shelf.
Yes.
Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Sometimes we get in our own way and stop ourselves from moving ahead. And the thing is, whether you have a mate or not, press on, right?
Mm.
Sometimes we get tired, but you got to get up and keep moving on. My Nana wrote me a letter back when it was a little note back when I was graduating from college, and I have it upstairs. I When she passed away, I had it put on my refrigerator so I would just look at it from time to
Hmm.
time. But I ran and snatched it off and I laminated it and I have it sitting on my dresser. And she said, "You've done it, and I'm so proud of you. And I knew that you would. And God is with you always." I'm paraphrasing it, right? And she said,
Right.
"And now that you finished this, I need you to get out there and I need you to show me something else. It's time for you to get down to business and show me some action." And I
Wow.
carry that with me in my heart. And I said, "I will. I will." Um, each of us have seeds that have been planted in us.
Yes.
And sometimes people want to have those seeds watered, and sometimes people want to tuck those seeds down a little bit further. But here's what
Mm.
I know to be true, that if the calling is great within and you are being pushed to water, then don't be afraid to let it be, because there's something else. If you feel like there's something else left that you're supposed to do, then you're just supposed to do it and don't fight it. Nana's gone. I
Hmm.
ain't gonna see her no more. She ain't been back since she left here. So I get it. We only got one time at this thing. One
That's
time.
right.
And regardless of the age, still continue to keep pushing, because your voice means something. Your
Hmm.
life is valuable, and your contributions can be plentiful if you allow it to be. So don't put yourself on the shelf. Don't
That's
close your
right.
book and put yourself away. Dust that thing off. You might be tired, right? It might have been a couple of years. Maybe you needed to sit up there for a minute, but dust yourself off and pick it back up, right? And rejuvenate and repurpose yourself, and then just keep moving.
Right, right. And this is also a platform for women to share what they're currently doing out there in the field. I heard you say empowerment workshops
Uh-huh.
and helping women understand and look inwardly at themselves. Can you
Mhm.
give one lesson that they will learn through your empowerment workshop and talk a little bit about that?
So I focus on self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
self-love,
Mm-hmm.
right? And self-purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to take a moment and just pause to really look within. It's always easy for us to point fingers at everybody else and say,
Right.
"Yeah, but she," or "Yeah, but he," or "Yeah, but they," if only this, if only that. Sometimes, a lot of times, the things that we go through is self-inflicted.
That's
The
true.
person ain't going to change because you're not changing. And sometimes the change is not about the other person, it is about us. And when we start taking our focus off of everybody else to try to justify our
Mm.
behavior, that's when the change can actually happen. So it's about inwardly looking and seeing who we are, not to be critical, not to browbeat, but just to be honest. And if we
Right.
all just took that honest look in the mirror and looked at some of the relationships that we got into, because at that time we didn't love ourselves enough to
Mm.
realize that even though we knew we shouldn't have been there and we heard all the words and saw all the warning signs, we was just going to be defiant anyway, because we didn't love ourselves enough in that moment to just walk away and say no. We brought that on ourselves. But guess what? It's okay. Lesson learned. The goal is to not repeat it, because guess what? As long as we decide that we want to sit still and stuck, oh, it's going, the record going to replay.
Something.
Thing is,
Right.
we justify where we are instead
Mm-hmm.
of being honest with ourselves and looking in at the change, right? That we need to make. So a lot of times we'll say, "I wouldn't do it like that if he would do this," or "It's only like that because she is doing that." And it's not about the other person a lot of times. It's about us looking at us. And so if we turn our focus inward, then
Right.
when we work on fixing ourselves, then we most likely be pleasantly surprised, because the people would react differently because we're acting differently.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people don't want to go there and do that because it's easiest to say it's you, it's you, it's you. But they could just
Right.
simply be reacting to the energy we're giving off.
Exactly. And is that workshop currently available? And how do people get involved in that workshop?
So I have different workshops. So there's one that's going to be coming. I had to just reschedule it. It's going to be in June. It's called Coming Full Bloom. And that
Okay.
is going to be over at Little Delilah's over in Marsville, PA. And that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be nice. She actually has like a wooden flower shop, which is really, really cool. And
Okay.
that's going to be the setting for that.
Wooden
That's an
flower
intimate
shop.
setting
Mm-hmm.
for 12 women. And we're
Okay.
going to come together and we're going to talk about us being the flower and how we can water and bloom into something beautiful, and then at the end we get to make our own wooden flower bouquet to take with us to memorialize the moment and the experience, right? So information for that will be forthcoming. Yeah, that's going to be June. We got to pick that date. And then, we'll move from there. And then I have other workshops that'll come. We try to
Mm-hmm.
do something once a month at a different place to try to draw out the women and try to pull out something different. And each lesson will be
Mm-hmm.
tailored around the venue that we have it in.
Wow, I would love to attend that because I saw the flyer, but
Uh-huh.
it said limited seating, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, by the time I was able to get a ticket, I was like, it's sold out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So I heard you say in there how basically we keep justifying our actions and we need
Right.
to look inward at
Yeah.
ourselves. What is one lesson that you had to basically come to terms with after you looked inward at yourself?
So what's interesting is my daughter, she's a psychology major she
Mm-hmm.
was in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she is a double master's candidate for school psychology and mental health therapist. So it's
Mm.
interesting when you're listening to your own child, right? Versus
Right.
listening to somebody else. And we would get into it sometimes about things. And one thing she would say to me is stop, stop over talking my feelings about stuff. Hear me
Mm.
out and listen to what it is I have to say instead of trying to get your point across or mask my feelings with what you feel like, if that makes sense, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so with that, as I listened to her, I was kind of like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. But but as time went on, like and I really was thinking about it, she actually caused me to just stop and self-reflect, like, you know what? People's feelings are valid, whether or not I
Yes.
agree with it or
Yes.
not. That is their feeling. And they are entitled to their feelings just like I'm entitled to mine. And
Mm-hmm.
so with that, as I looked inward, it actually makes me think a little bit more before I respond to people. It makes me
Mm.
think a little bit more about are you being empathetic to where this person is coming from, if you can be, or are
Right.
you at least being sympathetic, or are you being open and reasonable to what it is they are expressing, whether I agree with it or not. Allow
Mm-hmm.
them the space to express what it is that they have to say, because whether or not I like it or whether or not I agree with it, that is their feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And their feelings should matter, especially if we're supposed to have a decent type of relationship or partnership or whatever that looks like. It can't
Mm-hmm.
be one sided. So, yeah, she taught me that lesson.
Wow. And how did that lesson of focusing inward,
Yeah.
being more patient, being more
Hmm.
empathetic, how did
Hmm.
that transfer over to your leadership in the community with both the people and the other council people?
Yeah. So we have 7 people on council, so that's
Mm-hmm.
7 completely different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is at different stages. We all have different educational backgrounds. We all have different
Mm-hmm.
professional backgrounds. And I served as the vice president of council my first year on council, and then I became the president my second year on council.
Mm-hmm.
So it had me to a point where, in understanding the differences in everybody. It made me a stronger leader because it made me look into each one of them to
Okay.
understand who they are as a person
Mm-hmm.
and how they needed me to communicate with them so that they would feel comfortable and move in time with me, right? So that was
Right.
the counsel part.
Mm-hmm.
And then the teacher part, it just got me to the point like dealing with my colleagues as a teacher leader, being able to be open and assess the different characteristics of the staff that I work with, being open to how they are, understanding their mannerisms, understanding their emotions, taking the time to really assess without
Mm-hmm.
judging anyone, right? I know exactly how to address everybody
Right.
and we're fine, right? But it was a process to get there. It was a process because when I was a teacher working alongside in that way with them, it was
Mm-hmm.
one thing. But now as a teacher leader, we're still like the same level per se
Yes.
in the bargaining unit and stuff. However, I do more, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
once they understood and getting them to understand, I'm here to support you. I'm
Right.
not here to dictate to you or run you or whatever. I'm here to still work with you, but allow me to use my gifts to help you. It has been wonderful, but that was me taking the time to actually fall back and look in and say, yeah, you can't respond to her like that because she's not going to understand if you if you come
Right.
that way,
Right.
or don't respond to him like that, or don't, you know what I mean? Just take the time to figure people out. So
That's good. That's good. And how did that transfer over to people in the community?
So yeah, I mean, the other night I was over at a senior citizen building, and
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to they were one of the gentlemen was upset about other people from another building being in that building. So, I'm trying to have the meeting and he was like, "Yeah, no, you don't belong here," and da 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 da. And so I was like, "Okay, wait a minute. I'm currently in a teacher leader program with NJEA, right? Going for my teacher leader endorsement. And so what they went over in the program is the importance of setting norms when you have meetings.
Right.
So I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to establish norms for how we're going to communicate with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
here's the rules that I'm going to set. One, we're going to respect each other when someone else is talking. Two, we're going to
Right.
talk one at a time because we can all sing together, but we cannot all talk at the same time. Three, we are not going to be yelling and acting out, you know what I mean, and being disrespectful. And I said, do we accept these terms to go on with this meeting? And everybody said yes. And I looked at him and said, do you accept these terms so that we can continue? And he said, well, yeah, I accept it from you. I said, then good. Then we will be respectful of everyone or we will not have the meeting. And he said, okay. And we had a wonderful meeting. We had a wonderful
Amen.
meeting. And so carrying it to the community and letting people know I'm here to respect you all. Because
Mm-hmm.
somebody in another building wanted to talk about something that bothered them. And one woman said, oh, that's stupid. Nobody wants to hear that. And I said, no, no. No one's issue is less than or greater than the next. If that's their issue, then that's their issue.
That's
And I'm
right.
here to hear everything and see what I can do to help everybody to the best of my ability. And the people appreciate that.
That's right. So we talked about community. We talked about your nana basically telling you you need to put action into place.
Action.
What is your vision for Trenton and how are you making steps for it to get there?
So my vision for Trenton is for us to finally get back on our feet
Mm-hmm.
again, but to have a city hall that runs as it should be with order, with with standards, with
Right.
proper training, with people who are qualified to lead on various levels, to lead
Mm-hmm.
not only the city, but to lead the employees, but to also empower the employees to strengthen them within their respective capacity, to create situations where they can elevate and not be still, to
Right.
sit and be able to communicate with the community effectively,
Mm-hmm.
to be transparent, to have good customer service, to have economic development, to have people that will come to the city not to just make money off of Trenton, but to truly invest in it and care about it and not take advantage of the people because of who they say we are, but respect us for what we bring to the table.
Right.
As far as me within that capacity, I have relationships on the state level. I have relationships on the county level,
Hmm.
and I'll continue to increase as I move along and move forward to
Okay.
build bridges and look to help to bring other resources into the city to be of benefit to our people.
Amen to that. Chapter is written. What do you hope women say about Crystal Feliciano and what did she stand for?
So when my chapter has concluded and is done, wow, because we know that inevitably that's where we all that's it. Um, I want women to say, and men alike,
Yes,
that
yes.
that I was a woman of my word,
Mm.
that I'm a woman of purpose and true intention,
Hmm.
that I've been authentic in everything I've tried to do and sought to do, that I was helpful when help was needed, that I was direct when guidance was required,
Right.
um, and that I did my best in everything that I put my hand to. That I didn't
Mm.
half step anybody on anything. That if I said yes, my yes was my yes. If I said no, no was no. But that I did the very best that I could do within my respective capacity to help as many people as I could during my journey.
Okay. And just a quick question about your character,
Mm,
Crystal. You talked about your nana and your mother and your
hmm.
daughter,
Uh-huh.
basically all powerful women. Do you believe that they planted those seeds of your character? Because I hear so much power voice. Do you think that it was like your nana who helped shape you? Who shaped that character inside you?
Yeah, I would have to say that it was Nana for sure.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
as I look over her life
Hmm.
and listen to all the things that she was into, I actually mirrored a lot of what she did, from being a Girl Scout troop leader to being in education to
Wow.
being in politics to being like, and I was listening and I was like, wow, like wow. My mom, she's a retired registered nurse. So there's that nurturing
Mm.
side and helping the people and all
Right.
of that and her dealing with people's lives, right?
Right.
Um and then there's Gianna, my daughter, who has dealt with alopecia and pushing her way through and finding her voice and who she is, and now looking, not only did she we had the foundation, but she's a licensed cosmetologist in the state of New Jersey. She's
Hmm.
looking to get into the mental health to look to help. It all fits. Like it all fits by
Right.
design, that none of us were aimlessly walking just to walk.
Mm.
That Nana worked and helped people. My mom worked and helped people. I work and help people. Gianna looks to help people. So yeah, our
Wow.
foundation in service work, right?
Mm.
That's a birthright. We were born
Yes.
into this. And
Yes.
so even back to my great grandfather, the minister, it's in the
Service.
bloodline. Yeah,
Service.
it's
Yes.
in the bloodline. And so I
Yes.
carry that proudly as we move forward, right? And I'm still understanding who I am and still understanding my calling and my purpose. And I look forward to the next chapter of what
Mhm.
God has next for me as I go along on my journey.
Wow, you're amazing. Crystal, I've talked to you in the past through High Tea, and I thank you for your
Uh-huh.
support there. I think this one-on-one conversation has been enlightening. I hear so much depth, so much empowerment in you, and I can't wait to see the next chapters. And I'm definitely want to come to one of your empowerment events and
Yeah.
just sit and hear you talk and continue to pour into women because us women, we need someone who has been through and has made it and who has is walking in purpose. So you have that power, you reinvented yourself and you continuously walk in purpose. And you talked about purpose even beyond like 2030. which some people can't even like look at tomorrow. So thank you for being that inspiration. Any last encouragement that you want to leave the ladies out there?
I guess to close, I would just say that in all things, it starts with loving yourself.
Right.
And it's okay. It's okay to take time for you
Mm.
and to be alone with you, to
Mm-hmm.
better appreciate who you are. Because
Right.
once you can develop and have that relationship with you, then you know what you won't tolerate moving forward. And
I
you'll
know that's
know
right.
what you want because you will have taken the time to invest in you to realize and say, this is who Crystal is, and this is what Crystal deserves, and this is what Crystal is not going to tolerate. And it's okay to not tolerate nonsense. It's okay to not function in dysfunction. It's okay to love
Right.
exactly who you are authentically and require those that want to be in your space to love you how you desire to be loved.
Amen.
And then in this, a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Stop forcing what God ain't sending. We
Amen
got
to
to
that.
work on ourselves because if God's going to send us his best, then he's going to want us to be at our best to be able to
Yes.
receive the gift that he is preparing for us. So we have to be patient and love ourselves, work on us, look at that woman in the mirror, redefine who
Mm.
you are, and trust God in the process. And in his time, it will come. And you won't have to
Yes.
force it. You won't have to look for it. You ain't going to have to beg for it. You ain't going to have to cry about it. You ain't going to have to chase behind it because it's going to be right there at the appointed time just for you.
Yes. Crystal, thank you so much. Thank you for just sharing your words of wisdom, your experience, and your vulnerable moments in life with us on today. Crystal, just stay on as I exit. Ladies, thank you again for joining Ageless Ambition. This is Jeraine Simmons, your podcast host. I'll see you next time. Take care.
All right.